We move to the next question, 136. Pick out the alkaloid among the following. They are given the 5 options in this case: gum, cellulose, ricin, curcumin. Ricin is all from the castor seeds that you get. So, correct option is a alkaloid. So, the active principal opium alkaloid is morphine. Morphine is the correct option for question number 136. We move to the next question, which is 137. Coming to the 137 question, a non-proteinaceous enzyme. So, when you come to the protein part and non-protein part, the non-proteinaceous enzyme is the when you look at this 4 option, the correct option is ribozyme. Ribozyme is the correct answer, because a ribozyme is a ribonucleic acid that catalyzes the chemical reaction, and these are found in the ribosomes, and which is also called as catalytic RNA. So, for this reasons ribozyme is the correct answer. So, and the correct answer is 2. Question number 138, which of the following statements regarding the enzyme is not true? You know, all the enzymes are protein, but all the proteins are not enzymes. Looking at this context, you could see regarding enzyme is not true. So, first option is correct, of course activation energy. Second, equilibrium is correct, but enzyme change the value of the equilibrium constant of the reaction. So, option 3 is not correct actually, because energy lowers the activation energy required for a reaction and helps to speed up the attainment of the equilibrium of the reaction. So, for this reason the third option seems to be incorrect. So, option 3 is the correct answer. Then 139, the lactate hydrolyzes lactose. The hydrolytic functions of the lactose, you could see the lactose which cleaves into glucose and galactose, because of lactose combination of glucose and galactose. So, option 2 is correct. So, glucose and galactose getting hydrolyzed by this thing, lactase. So, option 2 is correct. Question 140, which one of the following is vitamins is anti-hemorrhagic? Anti-hemorrhagic vitamins are substances that promote homeostasis. Having this in the context in mind of homeostasis, vitamin K is the correct answer. So, vitamin K is the correct answer, and also this is responsible, vitamin K is responsible for homeostasis, and this stops bleeding. So, correct answer is vitamin K. Then 141, the number of essential amino acid in adult is the number of essential amino acid. So, as we discussed essential amino acids are essential and non-essential. There are like 200 different types of amino acids. Out of the 200 amino acids, only 20 amino acids which is actually secreted, right? So, the other amino acids that these the 20 amino acids which are responsible for protein synthesis is actually secreted and synthesized in our body. The remaining amino acid that's supposed to be taken through a diet. So, in this context you will see there are how many essential amino acids. The correct option is essential amino acid, which seems to be 9 in number. So, 9 essential amino acids are correct. So, if the correct option is 1. So, 141, the correct option is 1, that is 9 amino acid. Coming to 144, Brunner's gland. Brunner's gland are found in, you study the duodenal structure, where you could see in the duodenal part, the Brunner's gland, you could see the Brunner's gland found only because located in the submucosal region, and the islets of flank organs like that. You could see along with that, you could see the production of, I could see the presence of the Brunner's gland which secretes the mucus. So, the correct option is Brunner's gland, which is present in the duodenum. So, option 1. And 143, the uniform protoplasmic extension or the intestinal epithelium is known as, so it's of course brush borders, striated borders, cilia and everything. Uniform extension that always we talk it as intestinal epithelium is concerned, it is a villi. In even deep inside the villi, if you take, it's a microvilli. The brush border cells that we refer to as a villi, and even go to minute structure is a microvilli. So, villi actually when you see the finger like projections that you could see in the extension of mucosal epithelium of the small intestine, and this increase the surface area of the small intestine. To increase the surface area, of intestine, we have a villi. This is a brush border structure. So, the correct option is 4. Question 144, which of the following is the largest gland in the adult man? When you see this largest, this is a tricky question where you could see thyroid, pancreas, thymus and liver. Liver is actually, because if you see in the 4 options, skin is given. Skin is the first largest organ. Since the skin is not given, then you go with the liver. usually to be in sense like the skin is the largest organ in the body. If the question is the heaviest organ, first heaviest organ in the body is the liver. Since the skin option is not given, then the option you can select is the liver. So, the option 4 is the correct answer. If in this case the skin is given, then you must go with the skin. Okay. Then emulsification of fat occurs. So, how the fats are getting emulsified? This is because of the bile cells. The bile cells usually get secreted by the liver, and this gets getting broken down into small segments, and this reduces the surface tension. And here you could see the bile salts like it helps the digestion and absorption of the fats. So, the correct option is bile salts. Question 146. The semi-digested food that moves down to the esophagus. I told you already, right? Moves down to the esophagus. When it reaches the stomach, it is a bolus. When it reaches the intestine, then it is called as chyme. So, you must know the difference between bolus and a chyme. And the special feature, when the rugae part and all, like the finishing part only, you call it as rugae. So, bolus, it is actually semi-digested food that move down the esophagus. Question number 147. The special feature of the bile juice. So, when come to the bile juice, so the bile juice, when you talk about the special feature, this bile juice has got no enzyme. So, if you have seen the bile juice, the compositions like the bile juice doesn't have any enzyme, and this is actually the viscous greenish like yellow fluid, and this usually consists of the bile pigments. When you see the bile pigments, bilirubin, biliverdin, so these are the pigments which is getting produced. So, there are no enzymes which present in the bile actually, because this actually consists of cholesterol and the phospholipid. Okay, mainly it consists of cholesterol and a phospholipid, no enzyme. Coming to the next question. Next question is number 148. Bile salts in bile helpin. Bile, the main function is the fats. What? This is actually emulsification of the fats. So, emulsification is the word that you are supposed to use, because the bile salts will consist of sodium bicarbonate and sodium glycocholate, and for this break down the fat droplets into small ones and reduce the surface tension of the fat droplets. This process together we call it as emulsification. So, the correct option is emulsification for question 148. 149. Gastric enzymes. Gastric enzymes, when you see the gastric enzymes, all of this, because this consists of pepsin, yes, renin, it consists of renin, then it consists of gastric lipase. So, all of this. Question 150. The disease that occurs in mature adult human being due to the deficiency of calciferol. Due to the calciferol is actually, when you see the 4 options, osteomalacia. So, option 2 is the correct answer, because this is because of vitamin D deficiency, and this calcium absorption from the gastrointestinal tract is a deposition of the calcium in the bones, and this causes the disease that you say is like rickets in children. So, in this context you go with option 2, osteomalacia. So, pernicious anemia, keratomegaly, kerata has something to do with the skin. So, pernicious anemia is something with the blood. So, these options are incorrect. So, second option is the correct answer for 150. 151. A protein deficiency. A protein deficiency, definitely marasmus and kwashiorkor. In this case, protein deficiency disease, you directly go with the kwashiorkor. Okay. And 152. 152. Sulfur is not a constituent. Sulfur is not a constituent of, you see the cysteine, methionine, pyridoxine and pyridoxine. So, in this, like you go with the pyridoxine, because cysteine and methionine are the amino acids which contain sulfur. Cysteine and methionine, both these amino acids which contains the sulfur, but pyridoxine you could not see the sulfur, but pyridoxine you could see the iron. Pyridoxine is actually we have iron. Cysteine and methionine we have a sulfur. Only the pyridoxine which doesn't have a sulfur. So, fourth option is the correct answer for question 152. 153. In human percent of body weight of carbolipids and proteins are respectively. If you see the level, the percentage. So, the carbohydrates are 1 and lipids 15 and protein is 7. So, 115, 17, the option 1 is correct. Then 154. Vermiform appendix arises from cecum. So, because you see the small intestine, if it is coming like the small intestine, after this region, the part, and you go with the large intestine. So, when it comes to large intestine, this region is called as, this is cecum. This is a cecum part, and this is the small intestine. So, duodenum, jejunum, ileum. This region is called as ileum, and this is the cecum. So, here you could see the vestigial organ. It was actually referred to as vestigial now, but now it is not a vestigial organ. This is what actually we call it as appendix. So inflammation of appendix is called as appendicitis. So in the cecal region you could see this particular thing. So the correct option is cecum. So because it's not in actually the colon, it's not in the ileum, because here it's ileum, this is the cecum. So vermiform appendix is arises from cecum. The first option is the correct. Argentefin cells in human beings are found. We have 6 type of cells. You go to the stomach part, argentefin cells, G cells, oxyntic cells, B cells, like basal cell. We have like around 6 type of cells. So argentefin cells, which is playing an important function in the production of gastric secretion, and of course it is seen only in the stomach. So correct option is 2. Human dental formula, question number 126. When you see, like, you know, the first option is the correct answer, is because 2 1 2 3. So 2 1 2 3 by 2 1 2 3 into 2. So in case of, like, you know, this is the permanent teeth. But if you could see that the temporary teeth, you could see, like, you know, 2102 divided by 2102 on both the sides. That is actually 2. This is actually milk teeth. Milk teeth. This is the milk teeth. This is the permanent teeth. So it is the dental formula. So in general they given the dental formula, and for adult 2 1 2 3, so into 2 you go with the first option. Then Brunner's glands. Brunner, whenever the Brunner things which comes, like, you go with the submucosal duodenum, but more specifically they ask actually submucosa, not in the mucosal region, in the submucosa, because we have the highlights of Langerhans, and here submucosa of a duodenum. That is option is 3. Question number 158. The sphincter of OD found in a man guards the which duct? Because it's present between the hepato. So hepato and pancreatic. So if you see the structure actually for the, this is actually like hepato duct, and here this is actually from here, this is the part you could see the pancreas, and something which comes here like is a gallbladder. This is a gallbladder, this is the liver, right? And here it's the pancreas. So the thing which is coming from the duct which is coming from the liver and from the pancreas, and this is the place where you call it as actually hepatopancreatic duct. So the thing which get fused actually. So this is hepatoduct, this is hepatoduct, and this is the pancreatic duct. So pancreatic duct, these two from the liver, from the pancreas, it get fused actually. So this is the hepatopancreatic duct. So correct option is 2. In this place you could see sphincter of OD. Here only sphincter of OD that you could see. So that is the important part that we discussed. Then we move to the next question. 159. In liver, dash is converted into dash ammonia. Usually the ammonia is getting converted to urea. So correct option is 2. 159, ammonia is converting to urea. 160. Coming to the 160, this question. Which of the following is secreted by pancreas? Coming to the pancreas, it's a endocrine gland. It's the correct answer is amylase. So amylase is the correct answer, because pancreas don't produce pepsin, dipeptide. These other things are incorrect. Amylase is the correct answer. 161. 161. The backflow of the fecal matter is the large intestine is prevented by the presence of the last part, the ileocecal. So ileocecal valve actually. So this ileocecal valve is playing very important role. So correct answer is option 3. Then 162, the process of conversion of excess glucose into glycogen is called as conversion of glucose into glycogen is called as glycogenesis. You know, this process of if the excess, the surplus of carbohydrates that you take like beyond the level, then what happens? The glucose, the surplus carbohydrate definitely will be converted and gets stored inside in the liver and the skeletal muscles by the process called as glycogenesis. If it is getting converted lipids, it's called as lipogenesis. You might be aware of that. 163. Bile salts act as an activator of which enzyme? So, as you know, the bile salts secreted by the liver. The correct option is lipase. So, pepsinogen, trypsinogen, this comes under the stomach part. The bile salts related with the liver. So, lipase is the correct answer. pH is a very simple question. pH of the gastric juice definitely is acidic pH. So, that also 4 to 1.8, this comes like within the 2. So, the correct answer is 2. Option 1. Next 165, coming to the 165, the deficiency of which of the following vitamins called xerophthalmia? The vitamin A, because it's due to the deficiency of vitamin A, and this causes abnormal dryness, because the dryness of the Highball is because of this particular vitamin, that is A, and this results in the inadequate functioning of the lacrimal gland. If the lacrimal gland is not produced, then lacrimal secretions will be depleted, then automatically it causes irritations and burning sensation to your eyes. So this lacrimal secretion is responsible for the tears and also for the lubrication. So the correct option is question for 165 A. Then comes to question number 166. Coming to the 166, liver necrosis and muscular dystrophy are caused by the trace element, it is selenium. So never forget, for necrosis, muscular dystrophy, it is a selenium. So option 4. Question 167, which of the following sugars cannot be hydrolyzed further to yield a simple sugar? So because the eventual part is actually the ribose, because the maltose, lactose and sucrose, all these are disaccharide and can be hydrolyzed to produce the compound that is monosaccharide. So ribose is a, which form is actually of a carbohydrate? It is a monosaccharide. So already it is in a simpler form, it's a monosaccharide, and there is no need of like converting this simple sugar into further simpler forms. So the correct answer is ribose. Whereas like maltose, lactose, sucrose is all like, it's not actually in the simpler form, it's like disaccharides and polysaccharides. Then we go to the 168. In a polysaccharide, the individual monosaccharides are linked, because the carbohydrates like monosaccharides are linked by glycosidic bond. So it's getting connected by means of glycosidic bond. So as we talking about how amino acids are connected by peptide bond, the same the monosaccharides are connected by means of glycosidic bond. So first option is corrected. Phosphates are connected by means of phosphodiester bond. Okay, in the between the bases, nitrogenous bases, the bases are connected in the DNA, you see the hydrogen bond. So the correct option is glycosidic bond. Question 169, which of the following statement is wrong? Uracil, of course, it's because adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine, uracil. Uracil is a, of course, pyrimidine. Sucrose is a disaccharide, yes. Cellulose is a polysaccharide, yes. But glycine is a sulfur, no. Glycine is a non-sulfur containing amino acid. So option 2 is the correct answer. 117, human hemoglobin contains. So human hemoglobin, there are three structures, primary, secondary and tertiary structure, in which, right, human hemoglobin contains all the three structures. So option 4 is correct, all the above. So 170, it's all the above, because this consists of like two units, that is like heme protein and the globulin part, and this consists of subunits of beta type. So it's just connected, which is like together by means of hemoglobin. Each hemoglobin which has like 4 ferric porphyrin rings, and each hemoglobin has the affinity towards 4 oxygen. So in this context, this consists of all the types of structures of protein. Then 171, cholesterol is the precursor for each of the following except, because cholesterol you go with bile salts, yes. Vitamin D, yes. Steroids, yes. But insulin is the odd man out here. So option 3 is the correct answer, where the cholesterol. So cholesterol is a precursor of most of the steroid hormones, like which are the steroid hormones like progesterone, estradiol. Either these are aldosterone, cortisols, which forms vitamin D on exposure of the ultraviolet rays and also helps in forming a bile salts. So for this, correct answer is 3, insulin. 172, which of the following is an incorrect combination? All other things like adenine, cytosine, everything, so 2, 3 and 4 is everything is fine, but adenine, thymine, cytidine, it's not the correct thing, because in 172 is adenine, thymine, cytosine, all are nitrogenous bases, whereas cytidine is a nucleoside, but other things are nucleotide. Because I told you already the difference between the nucleoside and the nucleotide. The first option is incorrect, because cytidine, in which it's a nucleoside, it's not a nucleotide. Then 173, nitrogenous base, pentose sugar, phosphate. I told you all the three things together we call it as nucleoside. If you remove phosphate group from this, then it is called as nucleoside. So the correct option is nucleoside. 174, from the following group select the one which is of as only secondary metabolites, in which like you could take an option, that is second option, glycine, gum, serine and diterpenes, because these compounds are accessory rather than the central to the function. For example, you take carbon, cellulose, and these things, arginine, tyrosine, glycine, serine and phenylalanine amino acids, which are primary metabolites. So the correct option is glycine, gums, serine, diterpene. Okay. We move to the 175th question. What is actually the role of the competitor inhibitor during the enzyme action? So which is the correct answer? The fourth option, it declines the enzyme action, because it declines the enzyme action because it's a competitive inhibition, in which the competitive inhibition is caused by the swamping of a active sites, because both these things are like competitive to each other. So then eventually what will happen, which is similar in structure, the chemical which is similar in structures and to the substrate but does not undergo any chemical change, so it declines the enzyme action is the correct answer for question 175. 176, the protein component of the holoenzyme, in which you could see coenzyme, cofactor, prosthetic group. That is not the correct, but correct option is apoenzyme, because the apoenzyme is the conjugated enzymes of holoenzyme contain the protein part. So it contains the protein part as well as it's the non-protein part. The protein part of the enzyme is called as apoenzyme, and the non-protein part, what is the name of the non-protein part? The non-protein part is called as cofactors. So correct answer is option 4, apoenzyme. 177, the enzyme needed in biological system for joining two molecules is called as polymerase, because polymerase is the enzyme that catalyzes the elongation of the polymeric molecule for joining two subsequent molecules. So in this case, as far as joining the two molecules concerned, you go with the third option, polymerases, because this is actually the biological systems for the enzyme needed for the biological system for the joining of two molecules that you required is a polymerases enzyme. Example, you take a polymerase, DNA polymerase, RNA polymerase, and each category polymerase 1, 2 and 3 you could see in case of replication and case of transcription, right, the proofreading mechanisms. For all these things, again the linking process is happening between these two molecules. So polymerase is the correct option. 178, which of the following element is constituent of biotin? So when you come to the biotin, it is the sulfur, because sulfur is present in two vitamins of B complex. That is, what are the two vitamins that you could see? Thiamine and biotin. Thiamine and biotin. So sulfur is the correct option, and also it's normally found in the foods actually, like eggs, lettuce and sprouts and all you could see. So the correct option is 4. Question 179. A baby boy aged of 2 years is admitted to the play school and passes through a dental checkup. The dentist observed that the boy had 20 teeth. Which teeth were absent? So for this, I told you already, this is absent actually. So this is incisors, this is canine, and this one is premolar, and this one is a molar. So which is exactly absent here? So premolar is absent. This is about the milk teeth is concerned. When you look at the milk teeth formula, you can understand this process very well. So we're done with 179 question. We come to the last question. So in the gastrointestinal tract of Meissner's plexus and Auribac plexus occur respectively. Out of this, you could see there are 4 options. You can rule out the first option, yes, lamina propria and muscular properis. Third option you can rule out mucosa, because it's not in mucosa and muscularis externa. The correct option is submucosa and the muscularis externa. So you could see the Meissner's plexus and Auribac plexus, which is there because the submucosa is for the Meissner's plexus and muscularis is for the Auribac plexus. So by this actually we come to the end of this part. That is, we discussed about all the questions related with the digestion and the biomolecules and the enzymes related part. So we justified all the questions. If you have any queries or anything that you have, we'll discuss about. Thank you for joining with us.